On the evening of September 4th, 2023, the quiet town of Minot, North Dakota, was about to witness a chilling tragedy. Stephen Riley Jr., a 51-year-old drifter with a checkered past, collapsed at home, gasping for breath. His girlfriend, Ina Kanuer, dialed 911 in a panic. "He's not waking up. Please hurry," she pleaded. But by the next day, Steve was dead. At first, it seemed like a sudden and unfortunate medical emergency. But when the autopsy report surfaced, it revealed a sinister twist. Steve had been poisoned with ethylene glycol, the deadly toxin found in antifreeze. There was no alcohol in his system, directly contradicting Ina's claim that he had been drinking. Someone had wanted Steve dead. But who and why? The answer may lie in a tangled web of deception, greed, and a mysterious $30 million inheritance that seemed too good to be true. Steve Riley was no millionaire. He had spent his life teetering between survival and self-destruction. Born in Stockton, California, he met Anna at an Easter buffet in a homeless shelter in Washington. Their connection was instant to souls craving stability, but constantly slipping through society's cracks. Together, they moved to North Dakota, hoping to build a future. But reality was unforgiving. Steve struggled with addiction and had run-ins with the law. Work was scarce, and Anna's job as a housekeeper barely kept them afloat. Their love was as turbulent as their financial woes. And when Steve had an affair 6 months before his death, their fragile bond nearly shattered. Ina bailed him out of jail under strict conditions: no drugs, no felonies, and he had to find steady work. For a time, he tried. He took a job as a security guard, did odd gigs fixing trucks, mowing lawns, and scraping by. Then, the phone call came. A call that promised to change everything. Out of nowhere, Steve received news that seemed like a divine intervention. A lawyer from London contacted him, claiming he was the heir to a staggering $30 million fortune from a distant relative. It was the lifeline he had always dreamed of. Finally, he could escape the cycle of poverty. He started making plans, buying land, opening an auto shop, setting up a future for his 5 sons. But the inheritance came with a shadow of doubt. The lawyer kept postponing the transfer, citing legal disputes and delays. The final meeting was scheduled for September 3, 2023, at Minot Airport, the day before Steve fell fatally ill. Steve, filled with hope, drove to the airport with his friend Billy, eager to sign the final papers. But the lawyer never showed. The dream crumbled before his eyes. Defeated, Steve returned home, his body betraying him with waves of nausea and unbearable pain. Less than 48 hours later, he was gone. Ina insisted Steve's illness was heat stroke, but the symptoms didn't add up. She recalled a previous incident where Steve had accidentally ingested a harmful substance, painting him as accident-prone. "He's always spilling stuff on his cigarettes and smoking it," she said. But this time, things were different. Steve's condition worsened rapidly, and Anna's story began to crumble. When paramedics arrived, Ina told them Steve had been drinking heavily until 5 a.m. that morning. Yet, during her police interview, she claimed he had only consumed water and iced tea. The inconsistencies didn't stop there. Ina had told neighbors she took Steve to a clinic, but no records of such a visit existed. The only medical attention Steve received was when Ina finally called 911 on September 4th after it was too late. As Steve's condition worsened, Ina's behavior grew more suspicious. She served him iced tea, a drink that could easily mask the bitter taste of antifreeze. When paramedics arrived, they found Steve unresponsive, and the autopsy confirmed he had been poisoned. The police searched the property and found a Windex bottle filled with a bright green liquid suspected to be antifreeze, along with a glass and mug containing the same substance. Ina's motive became clear. She believed that if Steve died, she could claim the $30 million inheritance. But there was one problem. The inheritance was a scam. There was no money, and even if there had been, Ina wasn't legally entitled to it. Her greed and misunderstanding of common law marriage led her to commit an unthinkable crime. On October 30th, 2023, Ina was arrested for Steve's murder. Despite her protests of innocence, the evidence was overwhelming. In May 2024, she pleaded guilty to poisoning Steve with antifreeze, admitting she added it to his iced tea to disguise the taste. She was sentenced to 25 years in prison, with an additional 25 years suspended, followed by 10 years of probation. She was also ordered to pay $3,455 in restitution to Steve's family. At her sentencing, Steve's sister delivered a scathing victim impact statement, calling Ina filthy, disgusting, and gross, a reflection of the life she had led with Steve. The family's pain was palpable, and the courtroom was filled with a sense of justice, albeit bittersweet. Ina's actions were driven by greed, jealousy, and a desperate desire for a life she thought she deserved. But in the end, her lies and deceit cost Steve his life and left her facing decades behind bars. The $30 million inheritance turned out to be nothing more than a cruel scam, a mirage that led to tragedy. This twisted tale serves as a chilling reminder of how far some will go for money and how easily trust can be betrayed. What do you think about Ina's actions and the tragic fate of Stephen Riley Jr.? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to stay tuned for more shocking stories. Until next time, stay safe.